changed or is better? What is different about it now?
You know what? I don't think there was anything wrong with the culture previously. I think it's just been enhanced. I mean, when you have guys like Paris Campbell and Terry McLaurin kind of spearheading the leadership in your room, I mean, there's not a better kid on the team as far as a culture that you want within a unit room. And then they bring a guy like Johnny Dixon and KJ Hill and Ben Victor and Austin Mack. They bring them along, and all of a sudden they're operating at a much higher level, on the field, off the field, academically, everything. So it's been a complete enhancement, and it's really a testament to those two kids, Paris and Terry.
When did you start seeing that enhancement? Do you remember a moment where you thought?
It's funny, Coach Mick, 4 years ago, grabbed me, I mean, the freshman, it was probably like middle of two-a-days. He was like, I'm telling you right now, Paris Campbell and Terry McLaurin will change your room. And him and I talk about it all the time because it's true. I mean, you saw it within them back then, and now it's coming to fruition. It's really fun to watch.
How do you take that enhancement of the culture and now enhance the production once you leave that meeting room?
It's just a daily grind. That's it. I mean, right now it's showing up on the field, and it's got to keep showing up on the field. And really, it's just going to be every day trying to get better. And those kids have taken control of that and bought into that. So,
how would you describe the production of your unit last year?
They underperformed like the whole offense did. I think the offense was out of sync. You know, I don't think any position group played well at all, to be honest with you. And that's on us as a coaching staff. I mean, there's games where we played really well, like Nebraska and some other games, and there's games where we just didn't play great. And I think it was just kind of a little dysfunction altogether. You know, guys just weren't. One player doesn't make a catch, one player doesn't make a throw, one player doesn't make a block, and it just kind of feeds off each other. And it's just it wasn't a great culture. And I think that's the biggest thing you see right now is a different culture on offense. Whether it's the wideouts, running backs, tight ends, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's just a different culture offensively.
How long will it take to find three frontline guys, 3 or 4? I mean, you have 7 or 8 guys who can play, right?
Yeah, so I have six to sit in my front row, and I mean I think all 6 are going to have to play, and then it's going to be a matter of some of the younger kids are going to be able to step in and provide value. So it's just we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. The competition is really high right now, which is a great problem.
Who are those
6? Go ahead.
When you say front row, do you mean actually in the room?
Yeah,
in the front row.
Right. I probably should clear that up, huh? In my meeting room, the front row, there's 6 guys, and they're probably all the 6 that are out here.
Who are I was going to say, can you go through the?
Yes, Paris Terry, and then Johnny Dixon, KJ Hill, Ben Victor, and Austin Mack sit in the front row. And then you have guys like Trayvon Grimes, Jalen Harris, Elijah Gardner, guys like that are kind of pushing. A guy like CJ Saunders is a walk-on. He makes plays. He's a good little player.
How's the room reacted to Johnny Dixon? You know, he's been around forever, and he's finally he's putting it all together, I guess, and he's staying healthy.
I mean, the leaders in my room are really close with Johnny, and I think that's what kind of brought it out of him, right? It's kind of everyone else left, and it was two kids and him, and he was kind of not like the other two, and so they're really good friends, and it was kind of an accountability deal. You know, they're good friends, they're teammates, they're kind of brothers, and he kind of made a decision after the season, like, listen, I'm not doing this the way I need to do it. I'm healthy now. I need to train harder. I need to go harder. I'm buying all the way in, and he did, and it's really cool to watch.
Zach, do you need Austin Mack and Ben Victor to be a major part of this rotation for you guys to be successful?
Yeah, they have to.
Does that have to happen?
It has to happen. I mean, there's no scenario where it's not going to happen. They have to be a major part of this offense, and I mean it's. You know, I don't even want to plan or think for if they're not, because it's that necessary, and you're watching it happen, so it's a good thing right now.
Because a lot of people talked about Austin specifically when he was a freshman, especially in the spring, and then he kind of disappeared. And I know that freshmen do that at this program, but what has his development been like? Is he as outstanding as you guys thought he was when you first? You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I mean, Austin's exactly what I always thought he was in recruiting. I thought he could be a great player, not a good player, but a great player. And I knew he was going to take some development, you know. And so he came in, he showed flashes of what I saw in evaluation and recruiting, and what Coach Meyer, what everybody saw. And then it just was a matter of grinding him through it, getting him through the process, making him understand how to become a great player, how to train, how to work, how to be a pro. And so he's done that now. And last year he was inconsistent. And so you'd have good days and bad days, and we had to get consistency out of him. And right now he's very consistent. You know, he's got to keep it up, got to keep going.
Zach, Urban mentioned Jalen specifically when asked about the young receivers the other day. What stood out about him through the first couple of practices?
Yeah, Jalen's a really talented kid. I mean, he's really talented. He's got to fight through practice. You know, it's a tough jump, high school to college, especially at a program like this at this level. So he's adjusting to it. You know, he struggles every now and then, but every now and then he shows flashes. So it's gonna be a matter of how he progresses through camp, whether he plays or not. You know?
When are you able to tell with a young guy like that that when it goes beyond talent, like he's talented, but when he has all his stuff together, like when can you figure that out?
It's through the course of practice. If he's tough, if he's gonna fight through, if he's gonna finish, if he's gonna, you know, kind of when he's dead tired, is he still gonna go hard and make a play? And that's when you know in the fourth quarter on 3rd and 8, like what guy is gonna go get open and go get the football and make a play and get a first down.
Hey, Zach, I feel like a lot of times with skill position players, we can tell very soon in their careers when we get to watch them on the field in games who's going to be a star. I feel like you either have it sometimes or you don't. Do you agree with that? And I mean, because it's like Curtis Samuel was a freshman, he flashed as a, you know, like I just feel like if you go back to the last 10 years, a lot of the people who turned out to be draft picks on this team were really good in the beginning of their careers.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely examples like that. There's definitely examples on the other end too. I mean, guys like Eli Apple, guys like Mike Thomas so I guess he showed some flashes, but he was pretty average at best as a freshman.
Yeah.
But I think that there's definitely like, it's definitely an indicator of what is to come. But just because a kid doesn't flash instantly as a freshman doesn't mean he won't become that. You follow me?
Yeah. What I'm getting at though is that I feel like Campbell and Terry, I think they combined for like 29 receptions last year.
Yeah.
At this point in their careers, how much better can those two guys get, considering that they've been in this program for a while?
I mean, a lot better. I mean, they've the improvement from the end of fall until now, and those two kids specifically, has been night and day. It's constant development, and it's also kind of okay, it's my time to shine. Like here's this opportunity, and what happens with a lot of kids sometimes is they think they're training hard, they think they're working on their game, they think they're acting like a pro, and then it comes time and it's just that it didn't happen for them. And after going through that, I don't want to say failure, but that struggle of not realizing their dreams and expectations, there's a different motivation and a different level of commitment into training, and that's what they've seen all offseason. They've had that.
With that said,
with Ben Victor, what have you seen in terms of his change from last year? He's just, what can he give this offense?
He's a year older. He's gained some weight. He's stronger. He's able to fight through and make it through practice. I mean, and go hard and get open and be a dominant guy at the end of practice. You know, he was always a guy that flashed, like we talked about earlier. He was always a guy that showed some ability, and you'd be like, wow, this kid could be really good. But he'd get tired. He'd get exhausted. He'd get, maybe not the toughest kid in the world when he first got here. And now you're seeing him fight through stuff. He's tough. He's working hard. And he brings an element that we need, which is playmakers. And he has to be a playmaker.
How much
Zach,
do we read into the reception he had in the playoff game?
I mean,
The fact that he was on the field.
Absolutely. I mean, that's in the playoffs, in a big game, and you have a true freshman out there in a critical spot that's going to make a catch to move the ball. I mean, there was a lot of trust in him at that point. Our offense wasn't clicking, obviously, and so he didn't have numbers and stats like maybe he would have if it was clicking, but he was a guy on the field in a critical time, so that should be telling in itself.
The tempo of the offense, just comparatively speaking to last year, how much faster? We keep hearing how fast it is. How much faster is it compared to last year?
It's faster. I mean, it's not necessarily last year when we wanted to and tried to go fast, we went fast. This is more of a commitment to going fast more often, and so it's really fast when we want to go fast.
What is the key to that? To go fast more often? Is it? I mean,
Just calling it.
yeah. But I mean, on top of that, from a standpoint of people being in shape, et cetera. I mean, what allows you to do that? I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more who's calling the plays and what they call. I mean, because Coach Mick has never had a team go into fall camp not ready to do that. I mean, they've been in peak physical condition every year and have had the ability to do that. And we've done it at times, going back a couple years, and even last year at times we went fast, but it's not a physical condition deal. Partly it is practicing it, but ultimately it's just committing to that lifestyle or that style of play, and then practicing it and accepting that identity and being that.
In the time you've been here, I mean, I thought a great example of what that can do was the second half against Michigan in 15 up there.
Yeah.
The Notre Dame game. I mean, do y'all reinforce? Do y'all show those things to your players? Like, I mean, how do you use examples? I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think
reinforce it.
I think it's great having a guy like Kevin Wilson come in and talk about how he was able to have success at Indiana doing that with that culture. And then I always go back to in 2012 we played Penn State, and their D-line was ridiculous. And we just tempo, couldn't move the ball. In the second half, about mid-third quarter, the D-line was blown out, and we just started moving them off the ball.
Yeah.
And it's a testament to, a lot of people think tempo is like this equalizer if you don't have as good of players. If you have great players at tempo, it's that much more of an enhancer. So it's not hard to sell. Our kids want to do it.
Yeah.
Speaking of versatility,
Brian Hartline is now in your wide receiver room. How important has he been for the development of your wide receiver?
He's been great. I mean, he's been great. Anytime you have a guy like that one has a good mind and knows what he's talking about, has validity and credibility. It's really no different than having Joker Phillips last year. A guy that has people look at him like, wow, you played in the NFL, or Joker coached in the NFL, or whatever. You have a guy that players listen to, because it's hard to coach 53 yards sideline to sideline on every rep. So you need another guy or two, and I have him and Keenan Bailey that is my intern that help on the field, which is great.
Is Brian in a GA role or more of a
quality control?
Zach, what does you may have asked this earlier, but what does a freshman have to do to get on the field as a wide receiver in this offense? And why is it difficult? I don't know if difficult's the right word, but clearly there's a process involved.
Yeah, you have to be tough, be able to handle the tempo. We do a lot of running, and then you got to be able to block, and you got to be able to get open. I mean, we play the best DBs in the country every day, and so if you struggle in practice, we can't put you on the field. You got to be able to get open in practice every day. And if you can do that here, you're going to get open on anybody in the country.
With that, when you're going that fast, you need bodies. You need depth.
Well, absolutely. You have to have 6.
Yeah, you have to have 6. That's how many you want.
Yeah, every year I got to have 6. I tell them there's no 3 starters. And they do a little video board, and I tell Jerry all the time there should be 6 guys up there, because there's not like a starting X. If there is, we're going to be really bad. There's got to be 2. There's got to be 2 H's, got to be 2 Z's. So there's got to be 6 wideouts, and a lot of them are interchangeable. Like a guy like Paris, you can move in and out. KJ in and out, but I got to have 6, and then the next one is the 7th guy he's got to be ready, because at any time an injury, 7th guy's the 6th guy.
And you feel like you have that 6 now?
Not yet. I mean, I feel good that I'm going to have that 6, but there's freshmen that could fight for one of those.
Is Paris? Do you get the sense Paris is due? I mean, this could be his stepping out. I mean, I know he's played a lot, but do you think he's now in the right spot and the right time, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, this is Paris's time to go be that guy. The guy. He's always been a role player, always been a really good player, but he's never had to be the guy. You had a Mike Thomas, you had a Curtis Samuel. Now it's Paris's turn to be the guy. Every year we've had one receiver that is kind of your dude, and I'd like it to be more than that. I think this year's got a chance to be more than that. It's Paris's time to go be the guy on offense.
And he's equipped for that? I mean, what do you see that's different about him? I mean, not every player is exactly the same.
Yeah,
what does he bring that stands out in your mind?
I mean, he's everything you want. I mean, he can run. He's an unbelievable athlete. His ball skills have went from A to Z. I mean, improved dramatically. Just everything. Owning the position, understanding the offense, being a guy that can be multiple and do different things. He's done everything. So this has got to be his year, and he's committed to it, and he's done it since the year started. So we got to just see it come to fruition.
How much time is he spending at tailback? Paris, is he spending any time at tailback?
No, I mean, just we do some run game stuff with him, but he's not at tailback at all.
Coach Meyer mentioned the other day that basically at this stage you only have like 10 more days if you're a kid trying to get into your 6 or whatever position it may be. So in that vein, Saturday you guys scrimmage. What do you look for most? What catches your eyes? I mean, I know making plays, but what are you going to be out there looking to see from guys?
It's not. I mean, you better be able to make plays, or you shouldn't be here. It's more of, can you make plays consistently, and can you, when tired, make plays? Because I don't care if you're fresh and can make a play. Cool, man. Like, we recruited you. I hope so. Like, it's not that impressive. If you can do it after an hour and a half practice, you're exhausted. Like, it's hard to run, and all of a sudden you can kind of grit your teeth and fight through it and go run a good route, get open on a press corner. That's a good player, and make a play. You show me, all right, this kid, he might be ready. Like, he's almost there. And so you're right. About in 10 days, we'll know who we're going to get ready, and then it's still a matter of who's going to be ready when the foot hits the ball.